Hi, today we'll be studying about the resistor, capacitors and diodes. What is a resistor? Resistor is an electrical component that reduces the electric current. The resistor's ability to reduce the current is called as resistance and it's measured in the unit of ohms. Basically the symbol ohms. This is how the resistor is represented. Types of resistor: fixed resistor, variable resistor. The fixed resistor type is most common resistor. When people talk about a resistor, they most probably mean a fixed resistor. The picture to the right shows an axial carbon film resistor. The most common type fixed resistor have a constant resistance value, and another type is variable resistor. There are several variable resistor types. Their general property is that resistance value is adjustable. Most variable resistors are adjustable by mechanical movement, linear or rotatory. When they are used as a variable voltage divider, they are called as potentiometer. Yeah, and the other types of resistors are thermistor. Thermistor are resistors of which the resistance changes significantly when temperature changes. Different thermistor types exist. The two most common types are the NTC and PTC thermistor. And another type of resistor is varistors. Varistors have a non-linear resistance which is dependent on a voltage over the varistor. Above a certain threshold voltage, the resistance of varistor drops very fast. Different varistor types exist, but nowadays the MOV resistor is most used type. And another type of resistor is light dependent resistor. Light dependent resistor or photoresistor shows a decrease in resistance when light intensity increases. They are often used to identify the light or a dark situation and are, for example, used to switch on street light in the evening. Yeah, and another type of a resistor is magnetoresistor. The magnetoresistor type can be used to detect and measure the magnetic field. The resistance of a magnetoresistor changes with the magnetic field strength and direction. Yeah, now let us see about the capacitor. This is the symbol of capacitor. The capacitor have a two parallel metal plates. In practical case, the capacitors are no longer just two plates with a gap between them. The word capacitor seems to suggest the idea of capacity, which according to the dictionary means the ability to hold something. That is exactly what capacitor does. It holds the electric charge. The capacitance value of a capacitor is measured in farad. F. Some of the types of capacitors are fixed capacitor. Fixed capacitor is a type of capacitor which provides a fixed amount of capacitance. In other words, fixed capacitance is a type of capacitance that stores the fixed amount of electric charge which is not adjustable. And the next type of capacitance is aluminum electrolytic capacitor. These capacitors are filled with oil that acts like an electrolyte. Hence the name electrolytic capacitor are polarized because of their internal construction. The other type of capacitor is ceramic capacitor. These are caps with ceramic dielectric. Since the breakdown limit for ceramic dielectric is quite high, they are generally a lot smaller than other types of capacitor. Next is film capacitor. The dielectric in these capacitor is a plastic film, often familiar plastic such as mylar and polyester. Yeah, now let's come to diode. This is a symbol of diode. The arrowhead points in the direction of a convection current flow in a forward bias condition. That means the anode is connected to P side and cathode is connected to N side. What is diode? Diode is a semiconductor device that essentially acts as a one-way switch for current. It allows current to flow easily in one direction but severely restricts the current from flowing in opposite direction. Yeah, some of the types of diodes are Zener diode. Zener diode is basically like an ordinary PN junction diode, but normally operates in a reverse bias condition. and PN junction diode. In this type of diode, we dope one side of a semiconductor piece with a acceptor impurity and another side with a donor impurity. The other type is tunnel diode. Tunnel diodes have a heavily doped PN junction that is about 10 nm wide, and the other type is Schottky diode. Schottky diode is also known as hot carrier diode or a Schottky barrier diode. It's a semiconductor diode formed by the junction of semiconductor with a metal. Some of the other types of diode are photodiode. Photodiode is a kind of PN junction semiconductor diode which works with the intensity of light falling on it at a reverse bias condition. The other type of diode is pin diode. It differs from a normal diode in the sense that has an extra layer in between the PN junction. And the other type of diode is a laser diode. Laser diode or a semiconductor lasers uh, which generates high intense coherent beam of light. The last type of diode is LED, light emitting diode. It's a special type of PN junction diode. The light emitting diode is a special doped and made up of special type of semiconductor. This diode can emit light when it is in forward bias state.